Hello gamers, happy Tuesday. It's me Lemoni, and today we're going to be covering a little build that a lot of people have been asking me about, my personal opinions on it, but ultimately has some really solid healer tech to overcome a giant issue in the game, that being one-shotting in the general blunderbuss and gravwell issue, and how as a healer we can still play in light armor to have the output, to really deal with these types of situations, but as well as have something in our back pocket that we can still run away and play in light armor. That's the big focus. Staying in light armor, but giving you a way that you won't get one shot 24/7, 80 days a week, right? So here we are with the build guide. I'm going to just give it pretty general. It's not a build I've been playing a lot, but it does have utility if this is something you're struggling with and something you really want to start using. So as far as the healing side goes, I'm going to be very brief. I honestly have been doing this on my left side. We have the same cookie cutter. Sorry, I missed that. Same cookie cutter on the left side. I've dropped Mending Touch. Why? Because removing one debuff while passing a heavy attack through an ally does, one, not happen very often, but two, sometimes they iframe it. Sometimes you get it hit by a Maelstrom, it doesn't go through. Sometimes it just generally does not work well. And again, removing one debuff is not very good when there's a plethora of debuffs and we can only remove one at a time. Anyway, I go into Enchanted Justice instead. Enchanted Justice is not very good, but it's a better option, I think, personally, than Mending Touch. Getting this as a oh crap cooldown every 2 minutes to try to keep yourself alive against a one-shot again. Maybe you won't have this tech necessarily ready and active, so you have another option in the back pocket, offers a little bit more healing output. As far as right side goes, you can do a couple things. If you do a beacon build, I would do something like this and go here and then go there. And boom, this is what I would do in a beacon build personally, and you don't even need this 5 seconds because it comes up so often that you could probably go into something else like this to get bigger LEs. And if I run an orb build, you have to do a toss up, right? You either take Inspire because you need to max out Aegis, or you take Protector's Touch. Personally, I think I'm going to end up taking Protector's Touch to have this 15% Fortify max with the 10% Fortify to really help with one-shot combos when I'm running a Mending build. I've been running a lot of Mending builds lately, and my healing output is lower in general than other healers in Wars and OPR sometimes, but my amount of Fortify I'm able to give really does help with that. A lot of damage mitigation coming out there. And as well, keeps me alive having this 25% Fortify pretty much 100% of the time. You can also opt for doing something like this just because this is on you constantly. Now, that's all I'm going to talk about for healing. I've given my healing rants, I've talked about healing, but what is the tech that's going to keep you alive? This is the Hatchet. So what type of build would I be using here? Personally, Berserk, Social Distancing, and Feral Rush. Now, how would I set this up? Max out Berserk. What are the benefits to this? 1, break CC, movement abilities, stuns, it heals you, you run faster, you get your health back, and if you're standing in the sacred ground, you have the 150 focus, it heals you even more, and then you can't be staggered. So you can run away and you won't get knocked around by somebody who's trying to stagger stun you with like a leaping strike or something. The other beautiful thing is, let's say you've gotten leaping striked, you are now stunned and you've been on your life staff. While you are stunned or while you are on the ground, you can still switch to the Hatchet and use Berserk. So the thing is, if you get hit by a stun, you can switch to Hatchet, Berserk, get out. But if you get knocked on the ground, you won't be able to Berserk. But what you can do is if you put in enough points to this, and again, these points are up to you. Pretty much the only ones I think that are worth defensively are these ones. I'll talk about Feral Rush in a second. But then you can just go for damage increases if you want to really try to annihilate somebody. You can grab that Fortify if you want. Totally up to you. Personally, I just take the damage. I don't think we're ever really going to light attack somebody 3 times, and that Fortify is not worth for how much we use the Hatchet, so I go like this, okay? But now, if you're laying on the ground, you can see, and I'll put a clip of this at the end, you can swap to the Hatchet, and even though you haven't truly weapon swapped, it will swap in the bottom left corner, and Defy Death will proc if you get knocked on the ground and somebody's about to blunderbuss one-shot combo you. Or if you're stunned and you don't have Berserk up, you can still switch to this and get Defy Death to proc. Now, the thing is, it's a cooldown every 75 seconds. So I always say in a complete test environment with, just a 1v1 or a one guy that's trying to do one-shot combos on you, this will be 100% of the time better. But the other, times where there's multiple people, multiple gravwells, multiple one-shots, it gets a little bit more dicey because we don't have Defy Death. Obviously, in any situation, you want to use your movement tech, you want to use Berserk and not proc Defy Death at any cost. But if that case does happen, you can stall long enough where Defy Death should come back off of cooldown. But the other thing to note is that if somebody sees you have Defy Death and they're like an assassin build or something, they are less likely to go after you. People will stop going after you once they realize, oh, he's got a Hatchet, I'm not going to bother with that, because they just want to keep picking up kills. War's a little bit different, but especially OPR. What's this? Feral Rush. Feral Rush, you can use this to get out of ice showers, get out of grav wells, to do a little bit of extra movement. You can use it to preemptively hop away from things. But any sort of CC, any sort of route, any sort of thing like that, you can use Feral Rush to clear some ground so that you can avoid it. But again, the biggest thing is being able to weapon swap and use Berserk to get out of pretty much anything and then sprint away. Now, on the throwing side, this is where things change a little bit. What I do is I just take critical throw because we take keen speed on our hatchet. So, you know, getting an extra chance of getting that is very, very helpful. I'll put 2 points into social distancing. Why is this worth? I can use this when I get ice showered instantly, even though I have a root active, and I will get out of the root. I can use this in a grav well to jump backwards and then also walk out of the grav well. The distance it clears is very short, but you can combo it because it increases your movement speed if you hit somebody who has an active debuff, and it slows them by 25% for 4 seconds. It's also on a very short cooldown when you have some refreshing, and it's pretty easy to use. So there is that, but the greatest thing too is you can also take boot and rally, you can take adrenaline rush and all this stuff to get some stamina back, but specifically adrenaline rush. So dodging within 2 seconds of triggering an ability costs 25% less stamina. So if I berserk and then roll, I have a pretty cheap roll. If I feral rush and then roll, if I social distancing and then roll back, you get less stamina usage, meaning you can get more rolls out in a shorter period of time. So where it makes up for movement tech that does not necessarily move you very far like the rapier does or the blunderbuss does, it has some extra stamina regen and stamina consumption things that help to a lot for some of that movement reductions. There's a lot of CC things you can do. Anyway, the rest of these, kind of up to you. Personally, I ended up taking, it's hard. I just took the 15% additional damage. These critical hits with light attacks and aim throws, you could possibly take that, but unfortunately it doesn't work on social distancing. Boot and rally, same kind of thing. I still take it for the extra chance. You could also take thrown hatchets that if they hit somebody with a debuff, reduce all cooldowns by 5%. It's not a lot, so that's why I chose not to take it, but we can get some stamina back here if you just happen to light attack a person. It's there, but again, this is sort of your option as well. These ones don't matter as much. On the right side, we need critical throw, this line, and adrenaline rush. The rest are kind of up to you. Personally, I do something like this or something like this. Totally your decision, but you can use this tech to really get out of things and keep a fight going and escape and sit in a spot where you won't get hit in the future. So avoid the one shot, use this new tech. It's fantastic. It's been around for a while, but it's even more prevalent now because of all of this one shot madness going on in the Gravwell bug. So let's get into gearing, attributes, and what else I have going on as far as perks so that we can keep on rolling, and I'll show you some tech at the end. All right, gamers, so let's talk attributes. Let's talk all that good stuff. So first thing, these are my attributes for standard OPR build. This isn't what I'd run in a war. Typically in a war, I'd go a little bit more con, like 100 to 150 con. Depends on what you're doing. But anyway, this is what I'd go, full focus blast con, because we have this in the back pocket. We have an escape, and we don't have to worry about it. So this is what I do personally when I'm looking just to heal pump in light armor. As far as gearing goes, my gear is not necessarily set up for this 100%. And yes, I do need to run the Tempest Mutator so I can get my Sagacious pieces. But I have full refreshing on. My gems are not what I normally do. Normally I do 2 Moonstone, physical, and then some opals. And then, yeah, I'm running refreshing with perk, whatever perks you need. So like, right, I'm running a mending build. I have refreshing here, and then refreshing perk wherever it's needed. Jewelry, I have a health purify neck. I need to get the one out of the Ebon skill one. Can't think of what it's called for some reason right now. Dynasty. Health, purify, refreshing would be great. But purify is also something that will save you in the one shots. You get hit by a stun, you can roll out because purify procs. You get knocked down, purify could proc, and then you could get out. Ring, Hardy Sacred, earring, still running Misty Kismet. There's another one that drops off of Bane's, but apparently it's not dropping at 590 plus. So refreshing evasion, and refreshing toast would be perfect. That's what the Bane's one is. But if you could get refreshing toast with RE or just regular refreshing, whatever you need. Weapons, just get a Woda. And then hatchet, not a great hatchet. Rolled with focus, keen speed is what we're looking for here. If you get a crit, you start proc, like you throw social distancing or you berserk and you get a crit, you're going to be moving really fast and can clear a lot of ground. But that's what I would suggest as far as weapons and perks and stats go. Just trying to get as much focus as you can. And then again, adjusting your con as you see fit for your current situation. And then I always use a slow roasted bear flank with root vegetables, and then I stack that on top of an energizing meal, because you can see now I have all these buffs. Honing Stone will give you more damage, it won't give you more healing, and then making sure you have like Oak Fleshes, Gem Dust, all that good stuff in your potions. But if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to hit me up. All right, so this first section is what can you do with the hatchet? You'll see I'm going to have Dan hit me with the typical Leaping Strike stun combo, and he's going to come in, and here we go. He's about to dive in, hits you with the stun, and you'll watch I swap weapons, and I'm still able to Berserk and then get out of the stun there. So that's the really sick util you have out of Berserk, getting out of CC. And you'll see we have another setup here where he's going to come in and Leaping Strike and hit with the same stun combo, but here he's going to knock me down with a Blunderbuss. Now watch, my weapons will swap, and I'm able to proc my cheat death, even though I never actually had my hatchet out when I was standing up. And then here you see what you can do with Berserk. You get hit by an Ice Shower or a Root, just instantly pop it, and you can walk right out. It's that simple. And the same thing happens with a Gravwell. So you'll see we'll get stuck in the Gravwell, and we'll just be able to pop our Berserk and be able to walk right on out of it without any worries at all. And now for social distancing, you can see I get Ice Showered, instantly I can social distance out. You can slow him, you might get some movement speed there too, but you can get right onto that. Same thing with Gravwell. Doesn't go very far, but I'm able to get almost the edge and then walk out. So it gives you that movement tech. And very similarly, we can use Feral Rush, so I can use that to get out of a root here and clear a little bit of distance. It's a little bit of a long animation, and you can do the same thing with a Gravwell. Just clear that gap, get out of it before you get blown up. But that's everything I have today. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you to every single one of you for being you. Hit the socials below. Let me know if you have any questions, as always. Peace.